I got Maze relatively unknown, and she was an incredibly difficult horse to be around. She was quite shut down. She went through the motions of doing everything you asked. She'd pick up her feet, you could put a rug on her, you could hold to her and walk her around, and she did everything, but you could sort of feel that she wasn't present while you were doing those things, that it was a practice behavior. She knew what to do and she did it. She was difficult to catch for a long time. You'd go in the paddock and she would just take off, didn't want anything to do with you. Sensitive to touch, different areas of her body she didn't like you sort of poking and prodding or touching. She was quite snappy, like she'd turn and sort of snap in your space and tell you to really go away, leave me alone. So there was that aspect. She was very obviously quite unhappy about spending time with someone in her space. She did what she had to do and then she wanted it over with. She didn't want any more relationship going on, is sort of how I liken it. She wasn't willing to work with me at all. And you posted a video, I think, with a horse that the owner was touching them and he'd spin around. And I thought that's exactly what Maze is doing. And I thought, right, you've worked with a horse that's done exactly that. I want to know what you did for that behavior, that response. How did you work through that exact thing? Because no one could tell me what we were doing wrong. There was no answers anywhere. So I thought, well, whatever they're doing something, and it's different to what I've been told. Completely different horse. She's still very vocal about, what areas she will and won't let you in, but that's not something I want to stop. I like her having an opinion and a mind, but she's definitely more present. She wants to work with me in the afternoons in the paddock, and she's not sort of standoffish. She'll walk over and say hello. She's giving me various different parts of her bodies that she wants rubbed or scratched or poked or prodded. She's like, oh, I like over here today and I want that done. And there's some character there that wasn't there before. It's like, oh, there she is. Like, that's what we were looking for. And there's this personality coming out now that wasn't there before, which is nice. I'm someone that sort of hasn't looked into that sort of thing before or had anything to do with that type of thing. I definitely believe that energy and that sort of thing plays a part in your life and your animals and all that type of a thing. So I did sort of get that aspect. But it was sort of a sense of lightness afterwards. I sort of came out, it was sort of like I'd really taken a big breath and gone, oh, okay, like, that's what was going on. I noticed little things that I was doing in my day-to-day life that maybe I wouldn't have done previously. I'd said no to a couple of things or changed the way I'd done things, or even sort of decided, no, I'm not going to pull the whole house apart and clean it today. I'm going to sit down and relax, which isn't something I would usually do. And I didn't feel bad about doing that. So it was sort of like taking a deep breath and just, oh, there's this huge weight that's not hanging around anymore, which was a big thing because I think I sort of built up in my head quite a bit that I didn't want to, annoy people, frustrate people, make their lives difficult. Well, it doesn't. The only person's life I was making difficult was my own. Do it. I mean, it's not, you've got nothing to lose. You're like, I had never done anything like that previously. And I thought, you know what? I've tried everything else. I've done everything else. I've put all this money, time, and effort into something else. Why not give it a go? What's the worst that could happen? And it's just been of benefit. I mean, nothing bad happened. It's all been fantastic.